Hi Tender Foodies, Chef Jenny Brewer here. When Beth asked me if I could make a pie free from common allergens, I was ready for the challenge. The filling wasn't a problem, but the crust perplexed me a little bit. I wanted to focus on healthy ingredients, so I wanted to stay away from refined flours like white rice flour that might have tasted really good, but really didn't have much to offer you in terms of health. I also wanted it to have some crunch and some substance. I like to make my pie crust with nuts, but because this is tree nut free, I still wanted to get that crunch, but wasn't exactly sure how to do it. So I figured it out, and I can't wait to show you what I came up with. So to make the crust, you're going to need a food processor and a springform pan, one of those pans that comes apart. You could use a regular pie pan too, but this is going to make it so much easier because the crust is kind of sticky. So you're going to start with 1 cup of pumpkin seeds that you've toasted. You're going to put that into your food processor bowl. And to that, you're going to add ½ cup of millet that you've popped. Now, maybe you've never popped millet before, but it's super simple. To pop millet, heat a saucepan or skillet over medium heat. Pour your millet in and be sure to mix it around so that it doesn't burn. Soon, your millet is going to start smelling nutty and it's going to start popping. Sounds like Rice Krispies. Remember, make sure you're stirring it because it burns very easily. So you're going to add that popped millet to your food processor and pulse this until the pumpkin seeds are well ground. So that's your base. Now to that, you're going to add ½ cup of raisins. I'm using golden raisins here. You can use regular raisins or even get crazy and use like dried cranberries or cherries. But golden raisins are really fantastic. 1/2 cup raisins and 1/3 of a cup of dates. Now dates, besides being sweet, are going to give this that sticky texture so that it holds together. 1/3 cup of dates, make sure they're pitted. I've done that before. And pulse. Now you got the base and the sweetness, but you can see it's not really going to hold together just yet. So that's why you want to add 2 tablespoons of flaxseed. Make sure it's ground. 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed that you've mixed with 4 tablespoons of water. And you want to leave that and let it sit so that it gets kind of like a gel. And this is actually a great egg replacer for recipes, and it works to bind this pie crust together. So add that to your food processor and pulse away. You'll be able to tell it's ready when it forms into like a little ball. And what you're going to do is you're going to press this down into that springform pan and put it in the refrigerator. To your food processor bowl, you're going to put in 2 ripe avocados. Make sure they're ripe because you really want them to be creamy. Yeah, avocados are the base of this amazing chocolate mousse that's going to go inside that pie crust we just made. To that, you're going to add ½ cup of cocoa powder and 3 to 4 tablespoons of maple syrup. Now what you're going to do is, I would recommend adding less and then tasting it, because depending on the size of your avocados, you might not need as much. So the best rule with sweeteners is to start on a lower end and add sweetener to taste. A lot of recipes call for way too much sugar. And then lastly, you're going to add a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And pulse it well. You're probably going to need to stop it several times and scrape down the sides to make sure everything's well incorporated. So once your mixture is creamy and sweet enough and has enough cocoa powder and you've tasted it to make sure you like it, you're going to scoop it into the pie crust and put it back in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes, but the longer the better. And actually, this is something that you can make up to several hours in advance if you're having a party or something. And your guests will not believe when you tell them the magic ingredient is avocado. So there you have it, Tender Foodies, a rich, creamy chocolate pie made with a millet and pumpkin seed crust. This pie is so delicious, and it's also filled with healthy ingredients. The millet's a good source of magnesium, the pumpkin seeds provide zinc, and the avocado, besides being delicious and creamy, is providing a really good source of healthy fat. It's so decadent. It's hard to believe it's good for you, but it is. I'm Chef Jenny Brewer for The Tender Palate, and I'll see you next time.